The government has been quietly cutting checks short for over 40 years. They never sent you a letter. They never made a phone call. And most Americans still do not know it ever happened. Two rules called WEP and GPO took money out of Social Security checks every single month. WEP is short for the Windfall Elimination Provision. GPO is short for the Government Pension Offset. Together, they cut benefits for about 3.2 million retirees across this country. For some, the cut was small. For others, it wiped out the entire check. And for widows, it meant losing everything the spouse had paid into the system for decades. Stay until the end, because the third step is the one almost nobody takes, and it is the only one that actually works. Here is the part that makes people angry. The government knew about this for 43 years. They watched 300 bills get introduced in Congress to fix it. None of them passed. Not one. Teachers kept getting smaller checks. Firefighters kept losing their survivor benefits. Widows kept getting nothing. They paid in. They expected protection. They got silence. Then on January 5th, 2025, everything changed. President Trump signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law. It did one thing that nobody thought was possible. It eliminated both WEP and GPO. Not reduced, not phased out, completely gone. And it was made retroactive to January 1st, 2024. That means the government now owes you back pay from that date forward. If you collected a smaller check in 2024, they owe you the difference. If you collected zero, they owe you the full amount. The clock is already running, and most people do not even know it started. Let me show you what was actually happening to your money before the law changed. WEP used a hidden formula that treated your Social Security benefit as worth less than it really was. The formula assumed you had a pension from a job that did not pay into Social Security, so it lowered your check. If you also worked a different job that did pay into Social Security, you still got hit by the formula. Teachers are the biggest group this affected. A teacher who worked 30 years in a public school, paid into Social Security on a second job, and retired with a pension often saw their check cut by hundreds of dollars every month. Here is a real example. A teacher in Texas retired at 62 with a state pension of $1,800 per month. She also worked summers at a retail job and paid Social Security taxes for 18 years. Her full Social Security benefit should have been $1,540 per month. After WEP, she got $720. That is $820 missing every single month. Over 20 years of retirement, that adds up to almost $197,000 gone. GPO worked differently, and it was even worse. If you ever collected a government pension, GPO subtracted 2/3 of it from your Social Security spousal or survivor benefit. If your pension was $1,500 a month, they subtracted $1,000. If your survivor benefit was $900, you got zero. Nothing. Not a penny. This rule was specifically designed to target government workers who also qualified for spousal or widow benefits. It hit firefighters, police officers, state employees, and federal workers the hardest. For widows, the human cost was devastating. If your husband worked his whole life and paid into Social Security, and you also worked a government job with your own pension, GPO could eliminate your survivor benefit entirely. You could have raised 4 kids, paid into the system for 25 years, watched your husband pay in for 40 years, and after he died, you got nothing because of the offset formula. There are an estimated 360,000 widows currently affected. Many of them have no idea their check was supposed to be larger. The history of how long this went on is what makes it so painful. The windfall elimination provision was put into place in 1983. The government pension offset came 3 years later in 1986. For 41 years, they quietly cut checks without telling anyone. For 41 years, members of Congress introduced bill after bill trying to fix it. In 2024 alone, the House version had 330 co-sponsors. The Senate version had 62. Both passed with overwhelming majorities when they were finally combined. But it took 43 years to get there. 3 million retirees waited 4 decades for someone to fix it. Now here is what changed starting January 1st, 2024. WEP is gone. GPO is gone. Both have been eliminated completely. If your benefit was reduced, it should now be at the full amount. If your survivor benefit was zero, it should now be at the full amount. And you are owed back payments for every month from January 2024 forward that you did not receive the correct amount. The average back payment is around $5,300. Some people will get more than $22,000, and your monthly check should now be higher for the rest of your life. Let me give you a real example of what the money actually looks like. A widow in Ohio whose husband was a postal worker for 33 years saw her survivor benefit eliminated because she also had a state teacher pension. Her full survivor benefit should have been $1,840 per month. After GPO, she received zero. She went from $1,840 to $0. After the new law, she is entitled to the full $1,840 every month for the rest of her life. Over 20 years, that is $441,600, and she is owed $22,080 in back pay covering the months since January 2024 when the law took effect. That is real money. That is a paid-off car. That is 2 years of groceries. That is the difference between staying in your house and losing it. Here is the problem right now that you need to understand. Not everyone has received their corrected payment yet. The Social Security Administration is processing millions of cases. They started sending out lump sum back payments in February 2025. They started adjusting the monthly amount in March 2025. But there is a backlog. There are millions of people in the queue. And here is the critical part. SSA is not calling you. SSA is not sending you a letter to tell you a correction has been made. You have to check your own account to see whether it has been done. If you have not checked, you do not know whether your money has been updated. Some people received the lump sum, but their monthly amount is still wrong. Some people received nothing at all because their case was flagged for manual review. The only way to know is to look yourself. Listen for your group, because if you hear yourself, this applies to you. The first group is public school teachers in states that do not pay into Social Security for their teaching jobs. The largest of these states are Texas, California, Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts, and Colorado. If you taught in one of these states and also paid into Social Security through a second job, WEP likely cut your check. The second group is firefighters and police officers who held government pension jobs in any state. If you worked 25 years as a police officer and you also qualify for Social Security through any other work, GPO may have reduced your check. Even worse, if you died and your spouse collects a survivor benefit, GPO may have wiped it out. The third group is federal employees who were hired before 1984 under the old CSRS retirement system. CSRS stands for Civil Service Retirement System. It was the federal pension plan before FARES replaced it in 1987. If you worked under CSRS for any amount of time and had a federal pension, both WEP and GPO may have applied to you. And if you are a CSRS widow, your survivor benefit may have been eliminated entirely. The fourth group is widows and widowers whose own government pension caused their survivor benefit to be reduced or eliminated. This is the group most people do not think about. If you are a widow of someone who paid into Social Security for 30 or 40 years, and you also worked a government job, your survivor check may have been wrong for years. This group is owed the most back pay because the offset was often 100%. Here are the 3 exact steps to take right now. Step 1 is the most important. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount. Log in with your personal account. If you do not have an account, create one. It takes about 15 minutes. Once you are logged in, look at your benefit statement. Look for the line that says your estimated monthly benefit. If it shows the full amount with no mention of WEP or GPO, your account has been corrected. If it shows a reduced amount, your account has not been updated yet. That is the moment to know whether the government has fixed your case or whether you still need to do something. Step 2 is the phone call most people never make. Call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-772-1213. Do not call your local office. Call the main number. When you get a representative on the line, say these exact words. I want to verify whether my account has been fully corrected under the Social Security Fairness Act for WEP or GPO. Do not say anything else. Let them pull up your record. If your case is still pending, ask, "Can you give me an expected processing date for my correction?" Write down whatever they say. If your case is closed but the amount is wrong, request, I would like to file a formal request for reconsideration. That is the official term for asking a supervisor to take a second look at your case. They will walk you through the paperwork on the phone. Do not hang up until they have given you a reference number for the reconsideration request. Write that number down. You will need it later. Step 3 is for widows specifically, and it is the step almost nobody takes. If you are a widow or widower, ask this question on the same phone call. Does my case require a new survivor benefit application under the Social Security Fairness Act? Some widow cases were closed automatically when GPO zeroed out the benefit. Those cases do not get reopened just because the law changed. You may need to file a fresh application for the survivor benefit that was eliminated. This is not the same as Step 2. This is a separate form. This is the step that determines whether you actually get paid. Do not skip this step if you are a widow. It is the most important call you will make this year. Here is something important to understand about timing. SSA has been processing cases since February 2025. They are not done. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that 3.2 million cases need to be reviewed. As of mid-2025, they had processed roughly 1.1 million. That means about 2/3 of cases are still in the queue. If your case is in that queue, you will not get a phone call. You will not get a letter. You have to check your account yourself. And if it shows a reduced amount, you have to call the number I gave you. That call is what moves your case from the back of the line to the front. If this information is useful, hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need it. Write this number down, 1-800-772-1213. This number is the difference between getting paid and watching your money sit unclaimed for another year. Before we go to Step 2, make sure you caught Step 1. That was ssa.gov/myaccount. Rewind 2 minutes if you need to. This is where most people fail. They never log in, they never check, they just assume the government will handle it. If you heard yourself in any of those 4 group descriptions, pause the video and go check your account right now. Do not wait until the end. The sooner you check, the sooner your money moves. Let me be real about what you're going to find when you log in. You may log in and see that your monthly amount has already been updated to the full number. That means SSA processed your case and your check going forward will be the correct amount. You will receive your back pay as a separate direct deposit or check, usually within 60 to 90 days of the monthly amount being corrected. If you see that change, you are done. You do not need to call, you just need to wait for the back pay to arrive. You may log in and see the reduced amount is still showing. That means your case has not been processed yet. You need to make the phone call. You need to ask whether your case is in the queue and what date they expect to finish it. You need to write that date down. And if the date passes and your case is still not processed, you call back and request a formal reconsideration. That is how you get your case moved to the front. You may log in and see that your case shows a different amount, but it does not match what the math says you should be getting. That means there was an error in the calculation. You need to request a reconsideration. You need to ask for a supervisor to review the math. And you may need to provide documents showing your work history and pension amount so they can recalculate correctly. This is the hardest group to help because every case is different. But the process is the same. You call, you request reconsideration, you provide the documents, you wait for the second review. The bottom line is this. The government cut your check for 41 years. 3 million retirees lost a combined total estimated at $50 billion. Then on January 5th, 2025, the law changed. Everything was made retroactive to January 1st, 2024. The average back pay is $5,300. The average monthly increase is $570. And for widows who lost everything, the back pay can exceed $22,000. The money is real. The law is signed. The backlog is real. And the only way to know your status is to check yourself. The best thing you can do right now is send this video to one person you love who is over the age of 60 and collecting Social Security. That one share might put $570 per month in their account. Money the government has been holding since 1983 without sending a single letter to tell them it exists. If you are not subscribed yet, do that right now and hit the bell. Social Security rules change every single year. When they change, nobody explains what it means for your specific situation. That is exactly what this channel does. Do not let this video end without doing something. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount. Log in, check your amount. If it is still wrong, call 1-800-7722-1213. That is how this money moves from the system into your account. 41 years they kept this quiet. The money is real. The deadline is now. They are not calling you. You have to call them. If this video helped you or you have a question, leave a comment below. I read every single one. And if you found out you are owed money after watching this, come back and tell us. You might help someone else realize they qualify too.